Welcome to the coolest stuff on the planet.
Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. I am Rachel.
And I'm Kathryn.
And today Kathryn and I are pretty excited because we're going to take our first little foray into Germany. I don't think we visited there before.
No, we haven't.
I know Matt and I didn't. So our first stop is in Frankfurt, which is a pretty major city in Germany, and in fact, the financial powerhouse of the country. So Kathryn, why don't you start us off with some Frankfurt facts?
I'd be happy to. First of all, the full name is Frankfurt am Main. Main is a river where Frankfurt is located, and it has a bunch of nicknames. One is Manhattan, because it's a very cosmopolitan kind of place.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's also called Bankfurt because of the many banks that are located there. As you mentioned, it's a financial powerhouse. So Deutsche Bank is located there. The European Central Bank is also located there.
Which is the main bank of the European Union.
Exactly.
And it regulates the euro.
It regulates the euro. And check this out, it's also the home of the Frankfurter.
Big shocker.
Big shocker there. I know, I was kind of shocked myself. And they've been serving the sausage on a bun in some form from the 1400s there. So
I'm particularly grateful to the people of Frankfurt for inventing one of my favorite foods. Thank you, Frankfurt. So Frankfurt was pretty badly damaged during World War II. You don't see as much of the old Frankfurt as you would in some other cities in Germany. But one thing they did do was in the old center, or the it's called the Altstadt, they reconstructed some of the buildings in the old style. So you can sort of see imitations of what they would have looked like. And right near that, fronting that, is the main square of Frankfurt, which is called the Römerberg.
Römerberg is also famous for the Frankfurt Christmas market. And that's been held in some form for the past 600 years.
Now, I've heard of these, but what exactly is a Christmas market, Kathryn?
Well, it's Germany is actually famous for them. Almost every city has their own Christmas market. And it's a place you would go and just buy things that you would give as gifts at Christmas. So, you can go there and there'd be just beautifully handcrafted items, in beautifully decorated stalls, and you just walk around and buy things and, listen to choirs and drink a little mulled wine and get in the Christmas spirit.
One of the major attractions of Frankfurt are its museums. Most famously, there is an embankment called the Museum Embankment, or in German, the Museumsufer. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's basically like a strip of 11 or 12 museums that line the banks of the Main River.
So you can see all of them just one after the other in that area.
Yep, you just walk the strip.
And one of the famous ones is the Städel, which has this enormous collection of European art, particularly impressionistic art. They also have Renoirs and Rembrandts and things like that. And that's just one museum that you could see on that strip. Other museums that they have, not necessarily on that strip, are the Jewish Museum, which is held in the Rothschild Palace, which is the home of, or former home, I should say, of one of the members of the Rothschild family, which was a very famous Jewish banking family.
Speaking of the Jewish part of Frankfurt, Anne Frank was born in Frankfurt, so there used to be quite a sizable Jewish population in the city before World War II.
Another thing that you might want to visit if you're there is the Goethe House, which is the birthplace of that famous German poet, philosopher, and just...
What did you call him? Man about town?
Man about town, Renaissance man, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. So, that's obviously a place for Goethe lovers to visit.
And speaking of wandering around and checking out some of the sights of Frankfurt, you'll be pleased to know that Frankfurt is a very walkable city, and it has excellent public transportation. So either way, you can get around pretty easily.
Yeah, and also it's very bicycle friendly, lots of parks, so just a great place to visit. And, the other thing that Frankfurt is very well known for is all the different trade fairs that they have going on. And one of the most popular is the International Book Fair. That's held every year. You've got thousands of publishers coming to Frankfurt from more than 100 countries. And last year, they had about 300,000 people attending.
Wow. So it's a big deal.
Definitely is.
Although in general, I thought it was interesting to discover that Frankfurt has always been a major trading center.
Yeah,
so this is not a new thing.
Not at all, no.
Another great little facet of Frankfurt, of course, is the food. So Frankfurt has a great food scene in general, but there's one particular area or street which is called Fressgasse, and the translations that I've seen are Munch Alley or Eat Street or some variation of that. So basically, it's this long street where it's lined with cafes and restaurants, little gourmet food shops. So you can just kind of wander along and munch and, take your food to go or whatever, or sit at the cafes.
So would that be a good place to get a Frankfurter?
I bet. One little thing I just have to throw this in as a shout out to my friend who is giving me tips on Frankfurt. And I'm sure Frankfurters in general will appreciate this. They have a famous soccer or football team called Eintracht. And it's very popular there. And so I just wanted to throw that in as a shout out to her. So there you go, Beth.
She'll appreciate it. Well, I think that's all we got time for today on Germany. And if you'd like to learn more about it, check out our history of Germany at HowStuffWorks.com.
And on that note, auf Wiedersehen, and we will see you next time for more cool stuff.
For more on this and thousands of other topics, visit HowStuffWorks.com and let us know what you think. Email travelpodcast@HowStuffWorks.com. Don't forget to check out our other podcasts, free on iTunes.